You know, everyone's been talking about the Will and Jada Smith marriage and the things that has taken place between Jada, Tupac Shakur, and Will Smith. And while I was a little bit reluctant to speak on another man and wife's marriage, I felt compelled after looking around and hearing various points of views on the subject matter. I felt that it was my obligation to speak from a different place about this issue, to speak from a perspective of which all of us really needs to understand. No matter how you parse it, whether you say that Jada was wrong or Will Smith needs to leave or any one of those types of endeavors, what can we really learn? Regardless of our money, our status, and regardless of our own emotions, we always say there's nothing new under the sun. And that is very true. And the truth of the matter is that you can't make anyone love you. Let me say that again for the people in the back. You can't make anyone love you regardless of how much money you make, regardless of how sexual you are. You can't make anyone love you. You know, there's a old biblical story, and it's about a man named Jacob, Leah, and Rachel. And the Bible is real clear that Jacob loved Rachel. He didn't love Leah. As a matter of fact, when you really look at the story, it's almost like I see even today. Now, Leah loved her son Jacob. Loved him. Leah, we could say, was a very sexual woman. So when it came to sex, she probably was the baddest thing in the bedroom. But where was Jacob's heart? With Rachel. Let's take it even deeper. Leah was the first one to give him children. And if you understand the biblical time, a woman that can give a man children was considered fruitful. She was considered to be the best. She was considered to be the prime woman. But that didn't satisfy his heart, which again was with Rachel. And no matter what Leah did, no matter how much she loved him and tried to protect him, we even see another part of a story where on Jacob's return from his land to meet his brother, he feared that his brother would kill him. So what did he do? He divided his family. But here's the sad part. The very woman that gave him more children than any other woman he ever been with, legally his first wife, legally she's supposed to be the number one wife, he sent her out first. And he sent her towards an angle that technically, if his brother wanted to harm him, she would have been the first to die. Wow. And he made sure that Rachel The woman he loved so dearly was safe. I see this a lot. I've seen this in my lifetime of relationships where men really didn't love the woman they was with. Now, she may have gave him plenty of sex, money, gifts, but his heart was somewhere else. And this is also reverse. I've seen men love women. I believe they call them simps today. Giving them money, candy, food, buying all kinds of material things. But our heart was with another man. I've seen this in marriages where you might see a couple, a married couple, married 10, 15, 20 years. And as they say, when Facebook came around, we also seen a lot of divorces. People connecting and reconnecting with loved ones from college or even high school. So this Will and Jada Smith, it's nothing new under the sun. I've seen this often. And sadly, there's just a situation that has now come to the surface. But what lessons can we learn from this? You nor I have the power, the ability to make someone love us that doesn't want to love us. Now I talk about empowering men and getting women to understand the man they with or love. So let me stay on that principle. So let me talk to the men for the moment. Brothers, a lot of times we think or believe that our money, maybe the way we look, smell, our jobs, our homes, trinkets that we may get would make a woman love us. Take it from me. There's nothing necessarily we can do to get someone to love us as men. All of us ain't built the same. Some of us are tall, short. Some of us may go to the gym and have biceps and six packs. Some of you may be great readers, intellectuals. Some may be what society may call quirky or socially awkward. But it's who you are. And because that's just who you are, it's who you are. And the woman that's made for you is going to love you for who you are. Deep down inside, the individual. Now I know there's a whole lot of books written and everybody want to come up with all these new philosophical terminologies to make themselves seem intellectually rich with sociological understandings of everything. Here's my take on it. No matter what you call it, no matter how you dress it up and paint it up, gentlemen, there are just some people that's not going to love you. No matter how much you want them or desire them, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And sometimes we just got to take it with a grain of salt. Trust me. I've been through high school and college. I've traveled the world. I've met those type of women. I as a man has liked women that didn't really love me. I've done for women that, as I would say, they didn't want the good guy. They didn't want me, the individual. And it hurts. I know there's a couple of movies where the guy just loves his best friend and best friend didn't see him as being the one for her. And it's a reality. Sad, but true. Now, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It is what it is. Ladies, let me talk to you. Your uncle gonna speak words to you that you really need to understand. Now, I know there's a lot of talk as to what you bring to the table, and yes, I've done a video about that and plan to do a part 2 about that, but let me keep it 100. Ladies, I don't care how much sex you give a man. I don't care how many children you give a man. I don't care if you're the most top of the line cook or chef or cleaner. Here's the reality. A man's gonna love who a man's gonna love. And there's absolutely nothing you could do about it. You know, if he chooses to love another woman, no matter how you may think or feel or believe about that woman, it's going to be his choice at the end of the day. And I've seen many women in my lifetime who had children with a man that didn't love her. And these mothers would actually believe that having a child would keep a man. Now, to be honest with you, this part of my story is personal because it happened to me. A woman accused me of having a child that was not my own. The method worked only for a little bit. She thought by saying she was pregnant with my child and by claiming that this child was mine, that I would be hers. Now, I said it lasted only for a little while because when it was revealed that this boy who took on my name was not my son, do you think that kept me around? It was bad enough that I had to admit I didn't love her. My heart at that time was really to be with my firstborn child. And that's for another story, another day, another time. And what do I mean? Wasn't really looking for a relationship at that time. I was young. I was 25. I just got out of the military. Still trying to get my life in order. And she just wanted to be a part of that life. But my heart wasn't there. Now, the small blessing is when I finally found out that it wasn't my child. She was already pregnant with my daughter. Speed up things, I end up filing full custody for my daughter, and I ended up being a single parent for a while until I actually got married. Now I'm divorced, and that's a whole another story and chapter. So let's go back. You can't make a man love you regardless of the money, the sex, the material things, how friendly you are when he calls you. So it doesn't work regardless. So what can we learn from Will and Jada Smith's marriage? Simple. You can't make a man or a woman loves you regardless of the things you do or don't do. Love is personal. And people are going to love who they love regardless of any books, any philosophies, any thoughts, any games, any gimmicks. Love is personal. There's no book in America, there's no book in the world that can make anybody love you as an individual. I'm sorry if there's all these books and gimmicks about how to make a man love you, how to make a woman love you, how to do this and how to do that. I've lived life long enough to know if a person wants to love you, then be the best version of you. If a person desires to be with you, then be the most desirable person to be with. If a person chooses to do something for you, just make sure that when they're doing it, it's without expectations. If I do something, if I take a woman to the movies or out to dinner, to the park, to the beach, or even on a trip, as a man, I don't go with expectations of sex at the end of that day or the end of that week. And ladies, if you know that a man wants to do something for you, it's okay to ask, what's the expectations? Is it authentic? Is it just to get to know you? Or is this just strictly a sexual activity that he's using? And at the same time, gentlemen, make sure that your heart's in the right place for whatever you do. Are you taking this woman out just to get to know her? Or is it with the expectations of sex at the end? So here's the reality. If you're taking a woman out with that being the end goal, man up and tell her, hey, I don't mind taking you out. I don't mind spending money on you. But this is my expectations. It's called being mature, being a man. I've dated women where I let them know that up front, and guess what? It happened in the end. I've got more respect from women when I was just straight up, listen, I'm not ready for a relationship. This is what I'm ready for. I'm too busy trying to develop things, and this is it. Ladies, just say the same thing. I've had women to tell me up front, hey, although I'm single, my heart is still with my ex, or I'm still having residual feelings about another man. And I respected her for that. And I've had relations with some of these women, but I understood at the end of the relations that we would never be in a relationship. Big difference. I knew I was just a rebound dude. But the woman I dealt with told me that up front. So I never took anything personal when she went back to her ex or when she went to be with another man. Never took it personal. You know why? Because she was honest up front. I never got hurt. Wished her the best. So again, as I said in the beginning, so I say at the end. You can't make anyone love you that doesn't want to love you. And we see this from the Will and Jada. No matter how much money Will threw at her, no matter how big the house, no matter his star status, no matter the fact that they had 2 kids, no matter the fact they had an open or closed relationship, the reality is Will Smith could never really get Jada Pinkett to love him. So I hope that this puts a different spin and perspective and a different voice onto this matter. Let me know what you think in the comments. I love to hear what you got to say. Hit that like button. Share the video. Subscribe. This is Uncle Stu, the old man on the block.